so what that you have good music? You're supposed to have good music. You're an artist, right? Like when you think of an art, you're supposed to have good music. That goes without saying. So you go from level 1, music that anybody can have. It's just being thrown out there. Then you got level 2, where you got music that fits into other music with similar niches and solves similar issues. But then lastly, that third level would be greater than just the music. It would be a brand that stands behind whatever you want to fill in the blank with and creates an entire world around that brand. What's good, and welcome to Indie Leverage. We're back with the second episode of Let's Talk About It, and we're on a search for the best advice out there for independent artists. Nowadays, we need so much more than just great music. We gotta be good at marketing, branding, content creation. The list goes on and on. So let's talk about it. Now, this first clip that we about to watch is from Noah Gaynor, and it's all about eyeline and how being mindful of it can be the difference between a professional or an amateur video.
You could make your video edits so much better if you're just mindful of something called the eyeline. Let me show you what I mean. Alright, so here's some footage of me talking to the camera. Now whenever there's a cut, I can hide the cut by either punching in or out of the next clip. But I need to be mindful of the eyeline or else that cut will become pretty jarring. Whenever we look at people's faces, our attention is naturally going to be drawn to the eyes. So what that means is that if the position of the eyes changes on screen, it shifts the viewer's attention and forces them to follow the eyes, which is why the cut will seem so jarring. So the solution is to create a guide and mark where the eyeline is. So then on the next clip, when you punch in, you can just adjust the position of the eyeline so that it matches the previous frame. And now the cut feels a lot cleaner and easier to watch. Overall, it's just a bit more professional.
Bro, I've literally never even thought about that. I couldn't even count how many videos I've edited where I do different cuts like that. And I never even considered something like eyeline, man. And you can see such a big difference as he was doing the different cuts. It's such a small but yet big thing that I'm definitely gonna start implementing with my videos going further, man. Like, bro, that just shows like just the smallest details can make the biggest difference. It kind of goes back to that 1% rule thing where they say if you keep improving by just 1% every day, then eventually you're gonna make it to 100%. And a lot of people don't even get started because they think they need to jump straight to 100% right from the start. And this is exactly why I don't only listen to people in the music industry. Everybody's got an expertise. Yes, there are going to be people out there that help you with marketing and all of that stuff, but sometimes you got to let the professionals teach you on things that they know. There's so many tips and tricks from people that have no affiliation with music other than, they probably listen to it. And yet there's so much universal advice out there about not only creating better content, but also about things like marketing and branding. So shout out to Noah, man, for this gem right here. And I know you saw the difference with them cuts, man. You can't lie. So keep your eyeline in mind next time you go to edit a video. And we just got 1% better, my friend. But anyway, speaking of universal advice, let's go ahead and jump to this next clip from Brand Boss HQ. He breaks down the 3 levels of marketing using only a pen.
All right, I want to talk about the 3 levels of marketing. Today we're going to talk about selling you a pen. We're going to show you 3 different ways that happens. The first level is at the very bottom. This is how most companies sell their products. Here's a pen. We've got it in 15 different colors. It's got a little clip on there and an easy snap on and off lid, and they're fantastic, and you should buy one. Okay, that's at the bottom. This is commodity thinking, right? A couple of features, a couple of benefits. Anybody can copy it. It's totally unownable. And even if you've got something really remarkable, our clip will never break or our snap will never get weak, it's not anything that's ownable. Therefore, it's really not usable long term. Okay, so that's at the bottom. The next level up is we're locking down on a particular feature or benefit. So let's say that we were talking about people, maybe contractors or something, that had to work writing up a lot, right? So they've got a clipboard, they're looking up and they're making notes as they're looking at stuff, whatever, and the pens are constantly frustrating them. And so a pen company figures that out and they say, hey, we've solved that by making a pen that'll write upside down. Okay, well, that's great. So for the people that have that problem, now this pen became more valuable, right? Now it's just not any pen, but it's a pen that solves my problem. And I would say maybe 15 to 20% of companies really kind of like evolve from that 90% bottom feeding group and figure out what that is. But the rare air is the group that really understands it. The Nikes and the Disneys and the Dollar Shave Clubs of the world, they go one level up above that to understand the emotion that somebody has. So they do a series of shots where somebody is trying to write and it won't work, and somebody's throwing a pen across the room and they're showing the frustration and anger, and then they come back and say, never again. Okay, so all they're doing is they're moving one step past the feature and benefit to realize that there's a human being at the end of this that has an emotional connection to the scenario. And by showing how well they understand that emotional situation, the frustration of not having a pen, this pen becomes incredibly valuable, because now we've gone from just something that anybody could buy to something that's part of a group of pens that are solving the same problem, to a brand message that says we're about not being frustrated. Not being frustrated now opens the door to a number of different products, all of which could ladder up to, hey, if you're a person that has a situation like this that's super frustrating, we've got solutions that match that. Now your brand is valuable on a whole nother level. That's what those mega successful brands do, and that's how they differentiate.
All right, so what can we take from that? First, he said that the bottom 90% in the first level are bottom feeders, and they literally just selling their pens based off of the quality. And bro, I know that hurts some people, because some of us are promoting our music like the bottom feeders. And because that's exactly what some artists are doing when they promote their music, saying stuff like new single out now. It doesn't really cut it anymore. He said on this level, people are selling their pens based off of features and benefits. And even if you have something remarkable, it's still too easy to be copied and replaced. And the correlation between that and the music is just, it's crazy on point, man. And again, this is why I listen to people that aren't just directly connected with the music industry. I mean, this just further proves that this is all business at the end of the day. So even if you make the best music, and even if you have something unique about your sound, it's not gonna be enough. Your quote-unquote hit song that just needs enough ears on it is not gonna be enough, my boy. Because there's so much noise, so much talent, and so many other artists out there that make music just as amazing. So thinking your music alone will be enough to make all of your dreams come true is just honestly setting yourself up for failure. And that sounds negative, I know, but it's really not if you think about it. Because if you're watching this, that means you're dedicating your time to what I said earlier, getting 1% better every single day. 1% better, at least. So by watching videos like this, that means that you're taking this at least serious enough to put in the effort to learn and to grow. So saying that having great music isn't enough shouldn't be a negative thing. Marketing your music based off of its qualities or features is going to keep you on that bottom level of marketing. But on level 2, he said that's when you solve a specific problem for people. So instead of the pen writing upside down or whatever he was saying, this could be an artist saying stuff like, here's the song you play after a breakup. Or, something like, here's the song you play after a loved one passes away. And I feel like a lot of artists get stuck on this level of marketing, myself included. I feel like getting past level 1 is more about, just getting past your own ignorance. Just simply not being aware of a better way to market your music. But getting past level 2, I don't know, it feels more like you really got a learning curve there, and you got to learn how to create a world for your fans. And you could definitely find success on that level 2 type of marketing, but think about the brands he was saying for level 3, man. Disney, Nike. We talking about some of the most elite brands out there. And he's saying that they take it a step further and they show their audience that they really and truly understand the emotions that they feel when they're having whatever issue that they're solving. So instead of here's the song for after a breakup, maybe you could do something creative that will show the feelings someone has after a breakup. fully paint the picture of some of the things that a person could be going through in the moment with your song incorporated into the video. It doesn't have to be something super expensive or elaborate, man. It's just gotta be effective. And to be real, man, I'm telling you just as much as I'm telling myself, because I want to get to that third level of marketing for my music. I feel like I'm stuck on level 2. Just being honest, man. I don't know about you, but I want to be able to market my music using the most effective strategies. Comparing selling a pen to marketing your music might seem a bit strange, but they both end up coming down to how you consider your audience. Having a great product is just the beginning. You feel me? It's the foundation for everything. You got congrats, man. You got a great product. You're supposed to. You're trying to give it to people. But being able to create experiences for people by tapping into their emotions and showing how well you understand the emotion that they're going through is what's really gonna take your music marketing to the next level. You know what I'm saying? Like, so what that you have good music? You're supposed to have good music. You're an artist, right? Like, when you think of an art, you're supposed to have good music. That goes without saying. So you go from level 1, music that anybody can have. It's just being thrown out there. Then you got level 2, where you got music that fits into other music with similar niches and solves similar issues. Using the same example from earlier, it could be like a sad, emotional type of vibe. But then lastly, that third level would be greater than just the music. It would be a brand that stands behind whatever you want to fill in the blank with and creates an entire world around that brand, which is what could set artists up for a lot more than just their music, using the brand to sell so many other things. This whole music artist journey can be pretty lonely sometimes. You already chasing something that most people won't understand. You got people that say they want to be music artists, but then you go to talk to them about business or marketing or strategy in general, and then they got nothing. Their whole idea of networking with other artists is sending out links and basically panhandling for likes, comments, and plays on their music. And it wasn't until I went all in and I got the coaching, I watched the videos, I joined the masterclasses, I took the courses, I went all in. It wasn't until then that I realized how much time I was really wasting with these people who is never gonna take this as seriously as I do. So if you're a true musicpreneur, then I'd like to offer you a lifeline and invite you to a one-on-one session with me that we'll treat like your own personal mastermind, where I'll answer any questions and we can strategize actionable steps tailored to your unique situation. I'm only opening up a limited number of slots each month, so if you'd like to apply, you can visit www.indieleverage.com/live call. And don't worry, I put the link down in the description for you. So for now, let's get back to the video. But let's move on to our next clip. The Awakened Creative says that artists being afraid of bothering people with their music is only holding them back.
Your music will never be heard if you're too afraid of bothering people with it. If you want listeners, you need to push it. Post about it a lot. Be proud of it. Create variety in your content to keep it engaging. And don't worry about annoying a few people here and there. Your music is your everything. Stop holding back and get it out there.
Man, I could not agree more. There's always gonna be that one comment that says something like, "Why do you keep posting this song, bro?" And that's okay, because what that person don't know is there are so many other people that just heard the song for the first time. And as artists, we have access to all the information. Like, we see all the comments and the message requests and the shares. So I personally found success by sharing all of this with my fans. If you get a DM from someone and it says, for instance, something like, "Hey, I just found your song in a reel and I love it. I just added it to my playlist." You could screenshot that and share it to your story or something like that. And not only would that be showing love back to the people showing love to you, but it also would show your existing fans that there's a reason why you're doing this. There are still new people out there hearing your song for the first time. And I'm not saying this means you shouldn't respond to the message as well. I mean, in my opinion, I feel like you should respond to every positive message request. And I'm not talking about the ones like, "Yo fam, I love your music. You're super talented. Let's work." And you know which ones I'm talking about too. I mean, you do you, man. I'm just saying. You can use your best judgment, but I personally don't even entertain any of those messages. But as far as the genuine positive messages, I'm definitely an advocate for replying to all of them until you can't keep up with it no more. And as far as feeling like you might be bothering people by posting about your music, you should only feel like that if you're going about it in some cringy type of way. If it always feels like promo, then I mean, yeah, it probably won't just be a few comments here and there. It'll probably be a lot more, or worse. You'll just notice your follower count going lower and lower. I feel like the only way this works is if you get creative with it and you entertain people in the process. And I'm not saying that you should only push that one song. I personally like to mix mine in with some new music, but when you got that one that just continues to perform well and it's bringing in new people consistently, man, you better keep milking that song for as long as you need to, bro. Like, just don't be afraid to share your journey with your fans. Show the different milestones. That way they feel like they on this journey with you. But speaking of thinking more long-term when you marketing your music, one of the best ways to stay consistent is to batch content. And that's basically when you shoot a bunch of content in a day instead of working on one at a time. So Fraser Brooks says this is what you should be doing with your content.
People think they need to create new content all the time. You don't. People aren't watching you every single second of every single day. What I mean by that is you can create 60 days of content and just recycle it and reuse it. What gets repeated gets remembered, and what gets remembered gets repeated.
I'm definitely a fan of recycling content that's done well in the past, and having 60 days of content planned ahead puts you in a position where you don't have to worry about what you're gonna post on TikTok that day. And you could have 2 months of content in your drafts folder, or you could have it scheduled out so you don't even gotta worry about that. And for me, it helped me get in the habit of staying ahead as opposed to constantly trying to play keep up. And like he said, what gets remembered or what works can always be repeated. I mean, of course, you can always switch up the hook and the caption, but you could even keep that same exact video with the same words on the screen and it could still perform well. But the key is to have content that is quality enough to be worth repeating. And with everybody's finger right next to the screen, ready to scroll at any moment, I feel like it's important to be able to stop someone on their endless scroll and actually get them to watch your video. And this is something that I'm always trying to get better at for promoting my own music. But we're gonna wrap it up with this last clip, and Social Mino dropped some gems on layering your content. And I personally can't wait to use this tactic for myself. I'm gonna tell you right now.
So I saw this comment on my most recent TikTok video about how I hyper edit my captions to be super fast, to almost like manipulate viewers' attention span so I always go viral on TikTok. And it really is so sad how we have to hyper edit our TikTok videos because people's attention spans are so short these days because of TikTok. So here's another one of my retention tactics so you go viral every time. So this is a trick I call layering, which is essentially just putting B-roll clips on top of this talking clip so there are corresponding visuals to whatever I'm saying, because like I said, TikTok viewers' attention spans are dog shit and you need to keep them watching till the end of the video if you want to go viral. So simply watching a face on the screen talk for 30 seconds long is not gonna cut it. I film a new clip for every new sentence of my video, so the visuals constantly change to make the video even more engaging. Look, I know these are sad tricks, but this is what I tell all my clients. The social media game is not fair. So I'll teach you the tricks to abuse the shitty rules so you can dominate.
I feel like people are quick to throw out that manipulation word out there, man. Like, I really feel like it's something that every content creator needs to think about. How do we keep our audience as engaged as possible? How do we keep them as entertained as possible? You know, and some people might have a cynical view or outlook on the way that he hyper edits his videos, but I mean, if it's working, if he's able to retain people's attention and keep them watching, then why would he not do that? Like, the only time that I feel like manipulation should even have a negative connotation with it is when it's being used to harm the audience in some way. But I mean, I give this advice a thumbs up, man. And I'm definitely going to try to incorporate that with my videos and see how they perform. But he said he was switching up a scene for every single sentence. And for us, it could be for like every single line in a song or whatever. Or it could even be on a specific punchline or something. So it gives, you know, more power to what you're saying. And adding some B-roll footage on top, like a floating clip, man, I feel like that could be something interesting to implement into a video, bro. Like, my goal when I release a video, of course, I want to market my music. But I don't want it to feel like I'm marketing my music, you feel me? I want to sell the viewers on something more than just a good song. I want people to be sold on me and my entire brand. And I personally feel like that's where a lot of artists mess up, because they're so busy trying to promote their song and make the song the main focus for what they want people to pay attention to. And I feel like that could kind of take away from people being able to connect to the actual artist and their brand. You feel me? Like, he said that people will get bored watching somebody talk to the camera for 30 seconds. And what I feel like a lot of artists don't realize is that most people feel that same exact way of videos where artists are lip syncing their songs for 30 seconds. Like, nobody cares, bro. Like, only people that care about your music as much as you is you. Like, you're the only one. And just like somebody talking for 30 seconds, they can get bored. And I feel like a lot of times we're just like, oh no, man, the music is so good. It should make people interested enough just to sit there and watch as I rap or I sing with it. You feel me? Like, using little tricks like layering or telling a story with text or whatever tactics are being used. This will help you keep the viewer even more engaged and entertained. And I really liked how he was saying you can act out what's actually happening or the emotion that's being given on the screen as some sort of B-roll. I feel like that could work perfectly for an artist trying to promote their music. And I've said it before, I'm gonna say it again. That's why I feel like only looking at people in the music industry for advice isn't always gonna be the way to go. I mean, looking at the way that content creators go about doing things would be crazy to overlook. Some of these people, they got millions and millions of views using nothing but their brand and their personalities. I feel like if more of us start to lean further onto our personalities and our brands, it'll make people that much more susceptible to our music. Like, I rock with you, man, so of course I'm gonna rock with your music. Like, that just makes it even better because I already rock with you. And I'm not saying, just create random videos trying to go viral or something crazy like that. I think you should always showcase that you're an artist first. Obviously, I mean, that's the whole point, right? Because you would hate to grow an audience off of something that has nothing to do with your music. And then when you go to tell them about your music, they don't even respond to it because that's not why they followed you. So I'm definitely not saying take your music out of the equation. I'm saying, I don't know, find a way to have some sort of balance between being a musician as well as being yourself as an artist and a brand so that people can grow a real connection with you, not your song, because your song is going to get old. But that's going to be it on this episode of Let's Talk About It on Indie Leverage. A new episode drops every single week, so if you're not already, go ahead and subscribe to the channel, get notified for more videos like this. I appreciate you for watching, and as always, y'all keep pushing cause we starting to gain some leverage. Really put myself on, cause I can't settle for average. I made it a habit of doing what they couldn't get done. What, you still here? You must not know a video to watch next or something, huh? Alright, man. I got you, bro, but you gonna have to get up out of my studio, cause what the got me showing up. You can keep your keeper behind the gate if they won't let me in. Yeah. We balancing the scales now, and we got them scared. Yeah. We been gaining leverage. What I need a handout for? Watch me really put myself on. Indie Leverage drop gems, you get all the free